late at night tonight for a Leafs post game. They kind of deserve it. I was at work, so I was watching the game, but not watching the game. So Mark is going to be the main breakdown of the Maple Leafs effort tonight. So what were your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I guess before we hop right into that, the NFL Network decided to play a rerun of a Patriots Bills games from Week 16. So I had the Leafs game on, and I was looking at that game, going, "Oh, I didn't realize that game was on." And I was right into it. I was texting everyone like, "What a touchdown!" And then
And I was like, you must be behind or ahead. That was my
yeah,
thought. But no one responded. They're all just like, everyone was like, did we miss something?
yeah, no one was responding. I'm like, "Oh, whatever." And then it came up on the thing, Week 16. I went, "Wow." So then all my focus was on the Leafs. So it was a wild game. Like, it was a fun game to watch because it was just so back and forth. It was wide open, like 2-on-1s everywhere. So it was fun. And it was just one of those games I felt like we absolutely dominated the whole time. And then they would just come down and chip that one in.
Mm-hmm.
Pass from behind the net, out front. Wasn't Campbell's best game, but the main thing is that he came up so clutch when he needed to at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And stacked the pads. He was the creepy crawler out there. It was epic. So he's still the guy.
Yeah, it was funny because like usually when a goalie doesn't have his best game, and by like I wouldn't blame even necessarily half of the goals on Campbell, but it was definitely a few that he should have had, and like that's rare for him, but we still figured out a way to win.
Yeah,
and the Blues aren't bad. Like the Blues are a good,
No.
they're going to be a playoff hockey team. So it was just like, that's stuff that doesn't happen in past years. You know, like when Anderson had bad games, we would lose. Like we'd make it close, but we'd end up losing. And this was one where like we went down 5-4 and every Leaf fan was like, oh no, you know, and then Matthews with an amazing goal. And then Mikheyev with that. That's the other thing. When do we get lucky goals?
We never
like that?
I was telling that to my girlfriend, and she's like, "I don't understand." I went, "We don't get those."
Yeah, exactly. It's always like some like off the boards, bouncing off the goalie and in on us. It's never that. And like, if we did a pregame, we're sorry everyone we didn't get to the pregame, but I would have guessed that McCabe would have scored. So, you know, at this point, I'm just going to say it every single time.
He's Mr. Automatic now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And you can tell he has a bit of swagger. Like he was the first guy to go down and celebrate with Campbell. Like I feel like before he was just like kind of an outsider. You always see him being an outsider. The one was last year. We talked about it on like an early podcast when like, I forget who was it, Hyman that scored. And then he went to the bench and like Mikheyev like outstretched his arms and he just like went right by him. I was like, ooh. And now he just like seems like he just has swagger. Like you can see him in press conferences and stuff. He's like, yeah. Cobra, like he just like it has some swagger. So I don't know, it's good to see that like he's putting in even lucky goals because last year he couldn't put in any.
He was the most unlucky guy, and now he seems to have some luck on his side, which is just amazing.
Who were your two or three standouts, and then 2 or 3 guys who played poorly?
So this is in no order, but I guess for standouts, have to give it to Timothy Logan. First goal as a Leaf, and like even the announcers said it. It just seemed like when he was on the ice, he was everywhere. Like his name just kept popping up. And usually for a defenseman, that's bad. But this time, like he was pinching right, he was just taking shots, and he was just doing everything right. So he definitely gets a good shout out for top performer. And Austin Matthews, one of those ones I don't know if I even need to add just because he's a god. Golden assist this game, and just doing what he needs to keep us in it. And I had a third, but I can't think of. Oh yeah, Pierre Engvall. I can't believe I'm adding into a guy who played well, but he was also someone who I just noticed was just everywhere. He was digging into corners. He got, I think, 2 assists this game, and he had one of his better games after not being in the lineup a whole lot recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, him and Marner coming back from COVID.
Yeah, that Marner goal was so nice.
Yeah. No. What were your 2 or 3 weak performers?
Weak performers. Have to throw, even though Soup came up huge in the end, and basically
5 goals is not good.
5 goals isn't good, so he has to be in the poor performers for the night. So unfortunately, he's there. And then after that, I don't know who really stood out for being really poor.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it was everyone played pretty well. The one that was like close until the third was Muzzin. He wasn't looking good at all. He got smashed in the behind the net and hit his head off the glass. And then the next play, he gave up a goal. And I was like, this is it. He's gone. But then he came back in the third, and he was everywhere where you needed him to be. He was like a like the safety net and behind.
Yeah. So classic Muzzin.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden the third, he looked the best. So he almost made it to the poor performers, but he did not.
All right. No, my number 1 performer was Morgan Riley with playing almost 29 minutes. He played almost half the game, 28 minutes, 44 seconds.
Really?
Yeah. So that is my number 1 performer because that doesn't happen too often. And still 3 shots on goals, 2 assists, a +1 on the night where they let up 5 goals. So that's awesome. My second guy is going to be Mitch Marner because coming back from COVID, everyone else came back from COVID. They were looking a little off, little stale. He came back, and I think the power play talk, like it's still something we can talk about like the potential if it goes cold. But the power play does look better with him out there. Yeah, like, we just all forgot. That puck moving they had tonight on the power play was the best I've seen it in a long time. It was just pass, and not all of them went in, but like those are what you need to have for success on the power play, where it's just moving the puck all around. It's kind of like what Tampa does. So he's my other performer. And then I kind of want to. Austin Matthews is just too obvious, but Alexander Kerfoot looked good to me. He was just like fast with the puck. The guy still struggles to put the puck in the net when he has opportunities, but he gets those opportunities, and I guess that's a benefit of playing with Nylander and Tavares. But I thought he looked really good tonight. And then my weak performers, Campbell's just an easy one, but I don't really talk too badly about my boy. I thought that I hate keeping to pick on Hall and Muzzin, but like they let up a lot of chances in front of the net. Now, if you look at this shot chart, I'm going to save everyone that doesn't have to look at this now, but almost all except St. Louis had 25 shots, and 19 of them were all in front of the net to the blue line. So all between the hash marks up to the blue line.
Yeah.
So it's poor play in front of the net to like keep them out of there. It's also poor. You have to count some of the centers in that because they're not covering their man out front. So just like, I guess just the whole team's kind of when the Blues had the puck in the offensive zone, they got good scoring opportunities and were obviously more physical.
There always seemed to be someone like wide open in front of our net.
Yeah. And that's just bad. Like, I mean, look at all of the goals that they scored they were in on the hash marks towards our net.
Yeah.
So that's just like, you got to clean that up because, I mean, wingers in that, it's not too much their fault. Like they're more on the points and down on the hash marks, but so that's like a centerman and defenseman's job, and that just shows that. But those are things that you can clean up. And the Blues team is not a small team; they're a physical team. That's why they do well in the playoffs. So that's like a playoff style game when you need to learn to protect the front of your net a little bit better. So I guess just the defense as a whole. But they also added to the rush. They added offensively, so can't take too much away from them.
Yeah, our power play and penalty kill was awesome too. Like we scored on the power play, and the St. Louis Blues have the exact same power play percentage as we do, like scoring wise, and we shut them out this game. I think they had two opportunities. Yeah. And it looked awesome. So that was nice.
Well, I guess technically 3 because Morgan Riley took one with 6 seconds left.
Yeah.
I don't know if that counts as a penalty killer or not, but
you had to win the face off.
Yeah. I hope that pads their penalty killing stats. But the Leafs, who do they play next?
Oof, I have no idea. Let's see. Leafs. We have the Rangers on Wednesday.
Is it Rangers Islanders? Back to back?
No, and then Islanders are next, but not till Saturday.
Okay.
So they do get a couple days rest.
And both of those games will be in New York. That was the one against the Islanders was the one that was supposed to be at home, I believe, that we switched because they wanted fans in the stands till April 17th. So 2 more road games, and hey, I'm all for road games right now, because if you can't have anyone in the stands and you're playing in places like Vegas and Arizona and St. Louis, you're going to have Leaf fans in the building anyways.
And the Islanders, that'll be a good
for John Tavares.
Here's some booze.
That shit again. But that's it for us. We'll be back with a pregame for the Rangers. We might do another little podcast. If you guys have any questions or topics that you want us to talk about in podcasts or pregames, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to start doing that now. Subscribe to us.
Smash that like button.
Yeah, because we're once we get 1,000 followers, we're going to do some live post games right after the game, and in the playoffs we're going to be doing intermission lives. So we're going to put out lots of content, because sometimes we go on FaceTime with each other and watch games because we can't all be in the same place. So if we can include other people in that, because it's always funner to watch and talk about the Leafs with other people involved. So that's it for us. Peace out.